Hi, class. Like you know me, I'm Mr. Gitner, and I wanted to one apologize because I made a bit of a mistake, but two, I wanted to give you a preview of what your final would be like and some strategies for like how to be really successful at it. So this is what your final is going to look like. This is the point of view, perspective, and values policy, the values, perspective, and policy unit final reflection. Okay. I did have other ideas, but honestly, I made a mistake. I thought we had another week of school, and that's how I planned the unit. So I want you to be very, very conscious that you read the announcement in the stream so that you because that addresses that. But right here, I'm going to just talk through the final, and I'm going to give you some strategies that I would use if I was approaching this. So for the last few weeks, we've been looking at how the novel we choose, shows us something about our lives. We've looked at how the novel's society also mirrors our own. We've also used visuals. Remember the triangle. It comes back, excuse me. It comes back to the triangles. We've talked as a small group, and we've done some writing to demonstrate that understanding, right? That understanding that the stuff in this novel reflects part of our society and shows us stuff about that, and it also like reflects us to ourselves. It tells us like what we value and what we think is important. It's time to formally reflect on that experience and describe what you learned. Because if you can say it, if you can like use words to articulate it, that means that it's in you. You've got it, and that's worth a final, in my opinion. There are two tasks for this final. Okay, these are the directions. One, I want you to pick something in your book, right? And we've gone over how to look at the policy first and then look at the perspective and value, or how to start with a value from that list and then go perspective and policy. Like what belief would someone who has that value hold, and what policy might they enact? I want you to draw that pyramid, and you're going to have an example linked here. I just forgot to do it. In a 1 to 2 page, well written reflection, or a 3 to 4 minute video. And this is like kind of like the video I'm making, except you can make your face like real big, all this, and you don't have to write stuff. I want you to compare and contrast your life and the world with the book. Then I want you to describe what you learned about your life or our world from reading the book. So just as I'm approaching that, I'm looking at a couple things. So like if you want to pause the video, grab a notebook and like jot down, a strategy, like a list of stuff you should do. I'm just gonna like break down this task for you. This is called task analysis, and it's something that really helped me in college and honestly figure out what my bosses want from me at work sometimes. The first step is it gives you the parameters in a 1 to 2 page, well-written reflection. Now, we've talked about what good writing is. We've talked about it in two different contexts, right? We've talked about it in academic writing, and we've talked about it in narrative writing. So this is like some kind of mix between the two. I'm looking as the teacher, and I told you here, I'm looking for you to have like clear paragraphs. I'm looking for you to have descriptive words, because that's the things we worked on in writing the last 2 units. Or a 3 to 4 minute video, still expecting the same things if you're saying them. So I gave you the parameters of the task. That's what the final product looks like. Then let's look at this next part. I'm asking you to do two things here. Compare, which means point out similarities, and contrast, point out some differences, both your life and our world with the book. So I'm asking you to draw comparisons between your life and the book, then show differences between your life and the book, then show similarities between our world and the book, then show differences between our world and the book, right? I'm actually asking you to do like 4 things there. Then the last thing, the fifth thing, is I want you to describe what you learned about your life or our world from reading the book, right? That description should follow the comparison and contrast you did. Now, here are some questions. Honestly, if you need a hand, if you want just like specifics, you can go with this list of questions. It doesn't have to be like distinct paragraphs. That's fine. It should be clear. One way to do it is you could make each of these a paragraph, or you could do it a little differently. But these are some questions you could use to guide your reflection, right? And this is exactly what I just broke this task down. These questions guide you through that process. Has the book similar to our life in the world? Has the book different from our life and our world? And I want you to get specific here, right? Just like cite evidence from the text. That's part of the good writing we did in the first unit. Use descriptive words and like develop that idea through repetition, motif, and like using strong, vivid imagery. That's what we did in the second writing unit. What do those similarities and differences teach us about us, ourselves, and our society? Actually, I like ourselves better. Oh, I can't edit it here. Okay, I'll fix that later. What connections do you see between these similarities, differences, and your values, right? And that's that. What do you notice about you? And then what other events, subjects, and experiences relate to those lessons? Like that asks you to generalize. You must keep in mind, this is one of those three must do assignments. You must do something for this. I have to see that you are reflecting on what we did. Um, However, you don't get extra time on this necessarily. Okay, you must do this, or you sit with the grade you get. And I will put this grade in as a 0. You must attempt this. You must turn this into the point of view, perspective, and policy final assignment when you're done. This is the last major grade that you have this year. I think that this assignment is very doable. I think that you have some options for how to complete it. I think I just gave you an outline for how to complete it, and I'm confident that you guys can be really successful. So here's the question that I want you to ask. Are you confident that you can be successful? Right, I want you to tell me. That'll be your attendance for the day. Thanks, guys.